Very good morning to you. It is 7 a.m. on Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, and we will take your calls at maybe I should give you the area code, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. We're going to mix sun and clouds today, a little breezy and cooler than yesterday after we had a little rain last night. Highs today, low 60s. We head straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta for the first check of the full Garden State forecast. And Mike, I should say today, your friend and mine, Dr.
Mhm.
Bill Evans, and he is an honorary doctorate, he has. He is going to be honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the New York State New York State Broadcasters Association in New York City.
Oh, that's
So
so great.
I will extend our congratulations from the team to Dr. Evans.
So where did William Percival Evans come from? Was that just made up or is that his actual
No,
real name? Because he
no, that's him. That
Oh,
it's
William
his.
Percival Evans.
Yeah, I think that's one of his five names. He's from the South. He's from Mississippi.
Yes,
So he
right,
has
right.
he has the whole thing, please. I'll go into the stories with you off the air.
I can imagine.
We'll
Well,
talk
a
about like
big
pre-arrest and post-arrest. No, I'm kidding about that. I'm kidding about that. There was no arrest. He's an
uh
awesome guy, but he has a story and he's written books and whatnot. So
yeah. Yes, yes. Category 7, one of my
that
favorites.
was his
Very,
first. Yeah.
very, yeah, it was first book. Very, very cool. We will talk more about it. A big honor, big congratulations to him. And today, with it feeling like fall, we've got a really decent day ahead. So it may be heading to the gala later on this evening. Overall, a drier feel, or even just picking the kids up from school on the way home. A fall feel in the air. 50s to start the day and a wet ground. We had a little bit of rain last night that came through. A lot of rain in some parts. Picked up more than a quarter of an inch in some places, which is always good given how dry it's been. 14 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. So we're back to the flip flop. Every morning it's warm, it's cold, it's warm. We're back to a mild start. Flemington, 18 degrees warmer than this time yesterday as a result of that rain that came through. And the dew points are a little bit higher as well, thanks to some of that warmer air. So there's the rain that came through, most of it falling heavily in northern New Jersey overnight. Now just a lingering sprinkle right there up toward Morris County, exiting in the next few minutes. Even Ocean County and Monmouth County, you see your rain came through and roughly ended by 5 a.m. Your last sprinkles now exiting offshore. There's the rain gauges picking up more than a quarter of an inch toward Newark and Hackensack, almost a quarter of an inch there in Morristown, and a good little soaking. So some wet weather early on this morning has now cleared out. The winds anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. But by this afternoon, once again, they'll be gusting on the order of 25, 26 miles per hour from the south and west, dragging in another round of mild air today. I think today is our last mild day before the cooler weather comes in tomorrow. Even though that wind still blows out of the south and west tomorrow afternoon, there's more cloud cover tomorrow, so limited sunshine, and that's what's going to make it feel a little bit cooler. You can see it clearly with the futurecast. Lots of sun today throughout all of this afternoon, and temperatures warm into the mid 60s with that breeze. It'll feel lovely yet again. This is average temperature. We should be in the mid 60s for this time in October, but look at tomorrow morning, starting off really chilly in the 30s and 40s, and then only climbing back into the lower 60s. We lose a few degrees thanks to those clouds later on in the day, cooling off again at night, and then Friday starts rather chilly, up around freezing there over towards Sussex, with a few clouds throughout Friday afternoon as well. So a little bit of cloud cover going into the weekend, but I think we start the weekend nice and dry, and it will be cooler this Saturday and Sunday, starting off again around freezing on Saturday morning, another chill to begin your Saturday morning. But by the afternoon, 11, 12 a.m., maybe head to the pumpkin patch or do some apple picking. Temperatures remain in the 50s with clouds through the afternoon. So that cooler trend takes over to start our weekend. And then, of course, we could have some showers that come in by Sunday afternoon. Next few days, dry but cooler. We'll tell you more about that cooler trend coming up, Ken, on the 7-day forecast. That's in just a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And boy, oh boy, do we have traffic today, and it's before the sunrise, so it's kind of unusual. Let's go over to the Garden State Parkway right now, if we could. We have a crash. Look at this mess. This is on the Garden State Parkway. This is northbound, south of exit 137. which is Route 28 in Cranford Township. The two right lanes are blocked, and look at the absolute mess of taillights that we're seeing right now. So again, this is Garden State Parkway northbound, south of exit 137, Route 28, Cranford Township, two right lanes blocked. We have a debris spill on Route 27 southbound by Claremont Road in Franklin Township, and it's in the center lane, which always stinks because that means when the vehicles come to clean that up, they may have to close the whole thing or at least two of the lanes. So that's going to be a mess. Again, Route 27 southbound, Claremont Road in Franklin Township, the center lane is closed. Over to 287 at US 1 in Edison. Look at what we have here. Looky here. This is a mess of flesh and lights. Oh, they just started moving. So our director Pam says a second ago that was stopped. So, but you could see now they're just open things up. They pulled things off to the shoulder. But again, that is 287 at US 1 in Edison. Beware of that. And your Hudson River crossings right now. Oh, first I got to tell you, disabled vehicle on the turnpike. Express lanes northbound south of exit 71, which is Broad Avenue, Teaneck. That's near the GW Bridge. The right lane is blocked. Now, Hudson River crossings. We have something going on at the Holland. I don't know what. It could just be volume, but for them to have 25 to 30 at 7:06 in the morning is kind of unusual. Lincoln, also heavy. They're saying 30 to 35. So for some reason, it's jamming in. I don't know why. Maybe, you know what? It is New Jersey day or night on Broadway. Maybe people are coming in for that. Who knows? So people are coming in for their discounts and going to matinees today. Could very well be. And the GWB approach, let's take a look at the upper and lower levels, also heavy. So going into Manhattan is not an easy go today. I'm heading in myself in a few hours. You can see the lower level on the left, upper on the right. Lower is right now going to cost you 35 to 40. Upper is 30 to 35. 7:07 is our time. Federal immigration authorities in Manhattan arrested a number of people, including illegal vendors in Chinatown yesterday, enraging protesters in a targeted operation. This happening down on Canal Street. ICE agents arrived en masse at Lafayette and Center Streets. That's right in Chinatown. It's typically packed with merchants selling all the knockoff stuff, like the Gucci bags that are not really Gucci bags, and the watches that say Rolex with two X's and things like that. That's where they sell them usually. If I don't patronize them because you usually get junk and you are taking away from the real manufacturer, but nonetheless, that is a violation of federal law. So ICE has a right to go in there either way. And they went in there because they were looking apparently for some illegal migrants that they had. Nonetheless, this happened about 4 p.m. Things got chaotic because, of course, the lefties in New York now are hearing from the Democrats, basically, you shouldn't show any respect to ICE agents, which is going to get people killed. And it is wrong because ICE agents are federal officers and they can arrest your ass and throw you in jail. So don't do that. Do not listen to the Democrats because you'll find yourself in jail. So this got very chaotic. At least one rioter was arrested because he assaulted a federal officer. Many assaulted federal officers based on the videotape, but one got arrested. During the arrest of one vendor, bystanders got enraged. They yelled at ICE agents right in their faces, threatening them, calling them Nazis and fascists. ICE agents had to force people to the ground, leading other bystanders to then join the mob because they think that ICE agents have no authority, which they do. Meanwhile, a deputy U.S. Marshal was shot in the hand and a man was shot in the elbow during an immigration enforcement operation in Los Angeles yesterday morning. The shooting occurred in downtown L.A. during a targeted traffic enforcement stop of a man who had entered the country illegally. And I want to point something out to you. When USA Today wrote that story that I just told you about in L.A., they talked about the other man who got shot first instead of the U.S. Marshal who got shot, which tells you everything about the liberals at USA Today. So the U.S. Marshal who was doing his job, who gets shot by the bad guy, is put second in reference. And they made it sound like there was nothing that happened. It was a chunk of shrapnel that just hit him. It ricocheted and hit his hand. He's okay. No, he got shot in the hand. He needs surgery, etc. So, but that's just like when President Trump, when President Trump got shot in the ear. Oh, it was nothing. He didn't really get shot in the ear. Yeah, if he really got shot. The left is insane, folks. And if you're a Democrat still, after hearing and seeing the way they treat lives of people, you should really reconsider. It is not the Democrat Party of your grandpa, okay? 7:09 right now. Senate Republicans met with President Trump as the Democrat Schumer government shutdown heads into its third week with no deal in sight. Today is day 22. The president said the GOP, quote, will not be extorted by Democrats demanding unrelated concessions. The Senate failed for the 11th time to advance a clean continuing resolution that would temporarily reopen the government by continuing the spending plan that congressional Democrats had previously voted for under the Biden administration. So a year ago, all the Democrats voted for the spending plan that they're now saying we can't extend. All we're talking about is extending last year's plan by a month, so that we could get back to work, keep the government open, and work out a new spending plan for 2026. But Democrats won't do that because this is their game. And then they try to blame the Republicans for the shutdown, which it's their fault. Every Republican is voting for the extension. It's only a handful of Democrats in the Senate. House leaders had previously passed the continuing resolution, and now the House says they may have to extend the November 21st deadline to pass a new full budget. Meanwhile, federal employees remain furloughed or are working without pay while the stalemate continues. Blame the Democrats in the Senate. It is Chuck Schumer and his buddies' fault, except for Fetterman. John Fetterman is the only Democrat who came across the aisle and said, no, we can't continue the shutdown. It's only for a month so they can get together and decide on a new budget. That's it. 7-Eleven right now. American chess grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky has died unexpectedly. He was only 29 years old. The former child prodigy turned educator and streamer was admired among global chess aficionados. He became a grandmaster at the age of 18 and taught thousands how to play chess via online platforms. And we're not talking play. We're talking, chess, you got to know 20 moves ahead. And he taught that. His death has sparked tributes and reflections on his legacy, both as a competitor and a mentor. The cause of his death has not yet been disclosed. I find it interesting, though, that all the liberals who are calling him like a saint, when Charlie Kirk got murdered for doing nothing but listening to people and having a dialogue, when he got murdered, that was okay for them to besmirch his memory. Just interesting. Not that Naroditsky doesn't deserve to be honored. He does. He was a great man. God rest his soul. I'm just saying that because of the liberals who believe they're erudite and they embrace chess as something that at least appears on the surface to make you educated, where I know people of every education level who are good at chess. Chess is about logical thought. It's not necessarily about your book learning. But just interesting. May he rest in peace, though. Naroditsky was just a gift to the earth when it comes to the brilliance of chess. 7:12 right now. A rogue federal Chicago area judge has ordered immigration and customs enforcement agents to wear body cams and stop using tear gas to control crowds. Like every other law enforcement agency on earth currently uses tear gas to control crowds, but this one can't. It's crazy. This is an assault on the federal government by liberals. If the order stands, ICE would need more funding for the cameras. The judge ordered agents to wear the cameras when making arrests during frisks or when searching buildings. 2 ICE field offices currently have the cameras, but many others don't. The hearing was sparked by concerns over what some have called aggressive tactics by ICE agents. Hey, it's called doing their job. If you liberals would stop telling people that ICE agents don't have authority when in fact they do, then people would acquiesce when they are arrested and not fight. And that's why they're getting thrown to the ground, folks, because they're resisting arrest, because you liberals are trying to convince them that ICE agents are kidnapping them when they're not. It's now up to Congress to come up with the additional funds for the body cams or fire the friggin' judge who really has no authority here. They're stepping out of their lane. The president is the head of the executive branch. You cannot tell the executive branch as a district judge how they can run their business. It's constitutional. There are checks and balances, yes, but there are 3 separate branches of government, each with co-equality under the Constitution. So just stay in your lane, judge. And once again, speaking of which, a U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals has slapped a leftist activist district court judge once again. By the way, all these judges were jammed into the courts by Biden on his way out. This was done on purpose to F, and I'll let you, F is fudge, to F President Trump. This was done on purpose. There were like over 100 district court judges thrown in at the last second by the Biden administration. So this time, the U.S. District Court slapped the judge out of Portland. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 that President Trump may lawfully deploy Oregon National Guard troops to protect federal property in Portland. So that woman, that smug woman with the cocky look on her face, I'm kidding when I do that. She is the one who decided that she has more authority than all of you, than 51% of the country who voted for President Trump and him following the Constitution. She knows better. There you go. Thank you, Pam. She knows better. So anyway, she just got her ass kicked and handed to her by the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. who said, "Shut up and stay in your lane, lady, or else lose your robe." She basically violated the law by overstepping her authority, saying that President Trump didn't have the authority to put in the Oregon National Guard when he does. The case stems from protests outside of a federal ICE facility in Portland and the earlier blocking of the deployment. Right now, radical leftist protesters regularly line up, and for years they've been doing this, around federal buildings in the communist enclave that we call Portland, blocking access. It's against not only federal law, it's against local and state law. If these leftists had blocked the public library in Portland, local Portland police would have come and hauled them off. But because this is an ICE building, oh, let them do what they want to do. It's unbelievable. They give fewer rights to federal officials than they do to the protesters. Judges Ryan Nelson and Bridget Bade said the lower court undervalued earlier violent incidents. In other words, all the video you see there on the screen of all these assholes on the left who are every night causing mayhem in Portland. The left wing is saying there's nothing in Portland. Everything's calm in Portland. It's like, who are you going to believe, me or your own lying eyes? These incidents have been happening for like 5 years, and they keep acting like, oh, nothing's happening. Portland's under control. If that's under control, then the wimpy mayor of Portland should not be in office. So this ruling now by the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals could shape future federal deployments of troops in domestic cities, basically saying, you local judges, mind your effing business because you have no place saying anything. And if you do this, higher court judges are going to come in and could punish you. I'd love to see one of these robes getting stripped from these lower court judges who know they're violating the law. They're just throwing a wrench in the works to be assholes. That's all they're doing. They're trying to just piss everybody off and slow things down, but they can't do that. And if you want to really put an end to it, it's up to the wimp who goes both ways, Chief Justice Roberts, to order the lower court judges to let the executive branch do their constitutional job when you know that they are allowed to do so. Warner Brothers Discovery has announced that it is reviewing alternatives, including a possible sale after reviewing unsolicited buyout interests. The company, which owns HBO, CNN, and Warner Brothers Studios, Bugs Bunny for one, has been preparing to split into 2 units by the middle of next year. There's a potential buyer, a big money buyer, Paramount Skydance, the owner of CBS, among other things. They reportedly offered $20 a share to take over Warner. The offer was declined for now. See what happens. The move shows, though, that the broadcast TV industry is literally dying on the vine as viewers continue leaving by the millions. They're watching this, folks. They're streaming platforms like Netflix and the free stuff like us here at ONNJ New Jersey. If I could tell you, I'm not allowed to disclose the numbers, but the number of streams have been exponentially increasing day by day because people are cutting the cord. They're tired of spending $350 a month on cable and satellite when you could watch hundreds of channels free that do the same job. And that's where we are right now. 718 Coca-Cola announced it'll roll out a U.S. version sweetened with real cane sugar this fall, joining markets where the formula already exists. President Trump had requested this. The shift responds to consumer demand for more natural ingredients and references to Mexican-style Coke. The move follows President Trump's comments and ties into broader health and ingredient trends. This is a healthier thing than high fructose corn syrup, according to many experts. Now, if you like the current formula with a high fructose corn syrup, it'll still be offered for now, but at least you'll have an alternative if you want real sugar. And OpenAI has launched a new AI-powered web browser. It's called Atlas to directly compete with Google Chrome and the Microsoft browser. The browser features ChatGPT integrated agent mode that can handle tasks like navigating websites or editing documents. It'll first be made available on Mac OS with Windows, iOS, and Android versions coming soon after. The move signals OpenAI's ambition to expand beyond chatbots and into the core internet infrastructure. Observers say this could reshape how users browse the web. Quick aside, by the way, when I was talking about earlier, the last story I talked about with CNN, not CNN, it's Coca-Cola. We were talking about the cane sugar. We talked about how President Trump had said that he liked the cane sugar Coke because you can get it in Mexico right now, and a lot of people who go to Mexico and drink it love the taste because that's the way Coke tasted like 50 years ago. President Trump said the same. The one of the AI chats that reviewed the script that we wrote about this came back with referring to Trump not by name, but they said the former president recently said that he liked Coke with sugar. That's what AI is calling President Trump, the former president. Thought that was kind of Interesting. So be careful when you choose AI over your regular browser because you don't know who's behind it. Okay. The left is definitely with its fingers in it. 7:20 right now, and we have a temperature 58 degrees in northern New Jersey, 54 in Trenton. Mixed sun and clouds today. A little breezy, cooler than yesterday. Highs low 60s. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're back in a minute.
I'm Jack Chitterelli, born and raised right here in New Jersey, where it's never been harder for the middle class. As governor, I have a plan to fix our state. In Congress, the only thing Mikey Sherrill fixed is her bank account.
It said she made millions on the stock market, tripling her net worth while in Congress, and was then fined for unreported trades. Is that true or false?
So, I think we made money.
Come on, who wouldn't know if they made $7 million? New Jersey needs a governor who gets it. Mikey Sherrill doesn't. I do.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. It is Wednesday. I'm Ken Rosato, 721, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a slightly cooler Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning to you, Ken. Yeah, a little bit of the winds from yesterday returning once more this afternoon. So that's why you see that pink shade offshore, the purple shade. That is the small craft advisory through this afternoon, and that lets you know that we'll have some gale force winds throughout the day, even at the coast. But at least it'll be a dry afternoon. All of those clouds and showers exiting quickly, so we'll see some sunshine this morning return, and with that, a nice dry start to the day. Temperatures this afternoon climbing into the mid 60s. Yesterday we made it to the low 70s, so not as warm as yesterday, but still a fair amount of sunshine. It'll feel quite pleasant, minus about 3-4 degrees, depending on your location. As those showers from earlier this morning gave us anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to 1/3 of an inch of rain, we'll look forward to a nice warmer trend today with that dry weather. And then we have a few more clouds and sprinkles in the forecast for tomorrow, but it's a cloudier trend that takes over into tomorrow. And with that, the humidity also drops. So it'll feel nice and dry for the next few days with those dew points nice and low. Anytime they're in the 30s and low 40s, yeah, that's on the dry end of the scale. So we'll see a lovely amount of clear weather, I think, into the next few days. Just maybe cloudy each afternoon, as that's typically what happens when you have this unstable weather pattern overhead. You get the sunshine, helps create more clouds throughout the course of the day. Now, by Monday and Tuesday, I think we clear out very nicely. It'll stay cool and dry, but beyond that, really no rainfall expected. Any of those showers should stay off to our south for next week, and then we just enter next weekend on a little bit of a cloudier note. So the forecast improved for this weekend, especially with the clearing that takes over throughout the second half of the weekend. I know we were thinking a little bit of rain, and that probably going to turn to sunshine, which I'm sure nobody's complaining about. Upper 50s with a dry northerly breeze. That is a fall feel, if I ever saw one, Ken, with a nice dry weather taking over into each afternoon.
It's called F Square, Fall Field. I love that.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. It is 56 degrees, northern New Jersey, 54 in Trenton, and 53 down the shore at the Cape May area, 53 also in Vineland. We take a look at traffic, and we got a lot of it. Let's go to 287 in Bridgewater Township at 22 East. And look at that little foggy lens there, but look at the bumper to bumper that we have there. No word on what that is, but me guess is it's a breakdown or a crash because that's not usually that heavy. So again, this is 287 at 22 East in Bridgewater Township. We go over not too far from there in Edison, 287 at US 1, another similar situation. So we have very, very slow traffic through there, and you can see some flashing lights on the right. So that was either a crash or a breakdown. But again, that's 287 at US 1 in Edison. We have a crash now reported on the Goethals Bridge, westbound Midspan and Elizabeth, with the center lane blocked, and that's causing mayhem, as you can imagine, on the Goethals. We have a crash on I-80 eastbound east of exit 60, Route 20 in Patterson with a right lane closed and a disabled vehicle on the Turnpike Express lanes northbound south of 71, Broad Avenue and Teaneck with the right lane blocked there. Crash now in the Garden State northbound south of 137, Cranford Township by 28. 2 right lanes blocked and debris spill on 27 southbound by Claremont Road in Franklin Township with the center lane closed. The Hudson River approach is very slow on the Hudson. To get across the Hudson, I should say. Lincoln and Holland are both saying 35 now. GWB 40 to 45 with both the upper and lower levels pretty slow. 7:25, and a woman was killed in a multi-vehicle crash early yesterday in Mount Laurel. It happened around 8 a.m. on Route 38 near Martyr Avenue. In all, there were 3 vehicles involved. A second person was seriously hurt. Officials say they are investigating. A coyote, like the one we're about to show you on your screen right there, attacked a 31-year-old woman and a dog in the backyard of a home on Woodcrest Drive in Woodcliff Lake. The animal bit the woman on her shoulder, arm, leg, and back before turning on the dog. There was surveillance video that showed the homeowner rushing outside to chase away the coyote. The woman is being treated for rabies just as a precaution. Police are asking residents not to leave small pets alone outside for now and to keep watch for the coyotes, especially near wooded areas. New Jersey officials warn that if the federal shutdown continues, November SNAP benefits may be delayed. More than 800,000 residents rely on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program in the Garden State alone each month. The state guarantees benefits through the end of this month, but funding for fiscal 2026 remains unapproved, which starts November 1st. Community organizations and retailers that accept SNAP have been alerted. Tonight is New Jersey night on Broadway, on Broadway. This is actually the first time in history that a specific state has been honored by the Great White Way, although it is a long time coming when you consider that about a third of all the money they make in Manhattan comes from us. We are the ones who go in from the Garden State and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars every time we go in. New Jersey residents are being offered a special ticket deal. Buy one ticket at regular price. Get the second for $17.87. $17.87 is the year that New Jersey officially became part of the U.S. Because of the theater deal, there are also restaurants offering deals, and many theater district restaurants are offering overall discounts, free appetizers, or drink specials. You have to ask in advance, though. Don't assume they will offer it, because there are a lot of people there not from New Jersey. So just say, hey, by the way, I'm from New Jersey. Show your driver's license and ask if there's anything they'll offer you. NJ Transit, they are offering a buy one, get one free deal on train and bus tickets, but you must use the promo code NJNIGHT, NJNIGHT, in the NJ Transit mobile app to get that discount. 7:27, a shootout Monday night between police and a suspect in Jersey City resulted in the man's death. It happened by Bergen and Edge Avenues when a member of Jersey City's street crimes unit claimed to see the person acting in what was described as an unusual manner. The officer said the suspect had a bulge in his pocket and shot at the officer, who then returned fire, hitting the suspect, who was later pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Investigators found what appears to be the suspect's gun near where the shooting occurred. As this is a police-involved fatal shooting, the New Jersey Attorney General's office is now handling the investigation. A big fire in Hillsdale left some firefighters hurt. They had to be taken to hospitals in the area, but their injuries were called non-life-threatening. The fire started early yesterday, just past 3 a.m. on Ellen Court. The call was elevated to a second alarm. EMS workers transported at least one person to the hospital. It's not known if that was one of the rescuers or somebody else. Arson investigators were at the scene. The cause not yet known. It remains under investigation. 7:29, and President Trump is demanding the Justice Department pay him almost $250 million, $230 million to be exact, in compensation for the biased federal investigations into him that have all been discounted one after another. He had to pay a fortune with legal costs. Trump submitted complaints through an administrative claim process, which is the legal way to do it. That is often a precursor to lawsuits. Gives them kind of a heads up. A previous claim that was lodged late in 2023 seeks damages for a number of violations of his rights, including the FBI and special counsel investigation into the thoroughly discredited Russia election tampering lie. The second complaint, which was filed last summer, accuses the FBI of violating Trump's privacy by searching his Mar-a-Lago estate in 2022. They tore the place apart looking for classified documents when he had already let them in the week before. They knew where everything was. They did this to disgrace him. going through his wife's underwear and his kids' private drawers. Really? It also accuses the Justice Department of malicious prosecution and charging him with mishandling sensitive records after he left office. Folks, the President of the United States has the constitutional authority to declassify anything. And there is no like ritual for it. All he has to do is say, all right, that's declassified, that's declassified. He could take his stuff. Former President Biden stole federal documents when he was a senator. They have no authority to declassify. And more when he was a vice president. They have no authority to declassify. Yet they didn't charge him with anything. They didn't raid his garage with anything. Nope. They only did it to Trump, who was the president when he took those documents and had every right to do so. The left, as expected, is screaming like stuck pigs, calling this a gross ethics violation, as if Trump's predecessors never weaponized the government against him. Well, you folks on the left, you could scream away. 7:30 right now. It is 55 degrees. When we come back, mental health has become a defining issue for the next generation, especially among younger people. So how can we better support our students? The phone lines are open. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. Mixed sun and clouds today, a little breezy and cooler than yesterday, highs low 60s. The full Garden State forecast with meteorologist Mike Favetta in just a moment. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back.
Bergen Equestrian in Leonia is the top destination for horse riding, lessons, and exceptional horse boarding facilities on over 23 acres in Overpeck Park. Bergen Equestrian has programs for people of all ages and skill sets, indoor and outdoor riding areas, and a riding lounge. Riders can compete in horse shows and special events. Bergen Equestrian offers horse boarding and rentals, seasonal kids camps, and more. Consider Bergen Equestrian for unforgettable memories with kids' birthday parties, private events, weddings, and school trips. Visit BergenEquestrian.com.
Very good morning, everybody. It is now 55 degrees in northern New Jersey, 54 in Trenton and in Cape May. I'm Ken Rosato. Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. We're going to have mixed sun and clouds today. It's going to be a little breezy and cooler than yesterday. Highs low 60s, much more like fall. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed top to bottom Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. And at the top of New Jersey, you have a little bit of rain that moved through last night. Some of those showers now lingering across a portion of Sussex and Morris County. The rest of the state has a little bit of light drizzle that's being picked up on live radar. Over the last few frames, you see these showers here moving eastward, and they are moving quickly. So there they go, working right now off to the east and clearing out through the rest of the morning. So you won't need the umbrellas today, especially with the dry weather that takes over and the milder feel that's felt down the shore. A little bit of a gusty breeze from the south and west in Cape May, Avalon, and Ocean City, helping you climb into the mid-60s. A decent amount of sunshine today because more clouds are on the way for tomorrow. So we'll enjoy that more pleasant feel as we're right around average. Should be at 64 degrees this afternoon. So there go the last of the clouds, taking with them the showers out to sea. We'll enjoy the dry weather this afternoon. A little bit of a gusty breeze right now at 7:33. You see the temperatures, or rather the wind speeds, holding in the mid 20, teens and 20s. So a little bit breezy to start. And tropical storm Try that again. Tropical storm Melissa formed. Got to have that extra cup of coffee to start off our Wednesday with all of the activity down in the tropics. It's something that is not a concern for us immediately, but the remnants say this time next week may be offshore and could influence our weather with some gusty winds, and we'll see how that plays out. But again, plenty of time to wait and see where the track of Melissa goes. Almost did it again. All the clear sky this afternoon will help us warm into the mid 50s, and then by tomorrow, start off cool in the 30s and 40s and climb into roughly about the same mid 50s with a little bit extra cloud cover. There could be a passing sprinkle, but nothing really to worry about. I think Friday morning is chilly, down in the 30s there up in Sussex, 40 in Toms River, 43 on LBI, and warming back into the 50s again. So a cooler trend with more clouds over the next few days, and you can see why. It's that cold front doing its job, making it feel chilly around here, bringing back a few clouds each afternoon, especially with that extra cloud cover and waves of showers that come through, I think. But those showers should be very light over the next few days each afternoon. That's why it doesn't even show up on the 7-day forecast. So if you run outside, you see a dark cloud, it sprinkles for 5 minutes, we're not changing the icon just for that. So predominantly dry even going into the weekend. Saturday, little cloudy. Sunday, actually sunnier now. The forecast changed, looking brighter, but still chilly at 57. And then Monday and Tuesday of next week looking nice and dry heading into next weekend. We'll give you the shore forecast coming up because it is lovely weather to take that stroll along the boardwalk down the shore with that nice fall feel. Those details, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, Mike. A temperature now 56 in northern New Jersey, and we have 54 in Trenton, 54 also Cape May, and 55 in Vineland. 7:36 is our time. In terms of traffic, we have an issue still on 287 at 22 East in Bridgewater Township. We are now told this is a crash, and this is just north of exit 13. So this is really a mess in Bridgewater Township. All lanes are open in spite of that crash, but you can see everybody's hitting the brakes as they make their way through. Sorry about the little bit of fog there, but that's what we have. Also, not far from there, 287 at US 1 in Edison. We have a slowdown. Not sure if that's due to a crash. Oh, now it's just clearing up. So there might have been a crash or a breakdown. They just cleared it up, so at least that's good news there. We have a crash reported on the Goethals Bridge right now. It's westbound midspan in Elizabeth. The right shoulder is blocked. That's causing just a nightmare of traffic there. And we have a crash on 280 eastbound west of exit 9 Pleasant Avenue, which is Route 660 West Orange. 2 left lanes of the 4 lanes are closed. Route 24 eastbound from exit 9B Hobart Gap in Milburn Township to east of exit 9B Milburn Springfield in Springfield Township. All lanes are open, but we do have a crash reported there. And now your GWB approach upper and lower level. We're looking at pretty slow go, about 35 to 40 minutes. It's also 30 to 35 at the Lincoln and the Holland, all due to volume. 7:37 right now, and he is a Republican running for Congress in New Jersey's 9th Congressional District. Billy Prempa is here to talk about the decision by the Democrats on the Passaic County Board of Elections to block the use of security cameras in voter ballot storage areas and more. Good morning to you, Billy. Good to have you on.
Thank you for having me, Ken.
So thank you. So what is this about? Why would anybody think it's a good idea to prevent the public from seeing what are public documents, somebody's election ballots? Why would you not want security cameras? Democrats seem fine having surveillance video outside of everything else, but election areas? Why?
And that's the baffling thing is we were told over and over and over again during the 2020 election, for example, when President Trump questioned the results of the election, they said that it was the most secure election we've ever had. The vote by mail ballots was the most secure election ever. Now that we're outside of the pandemic and ballots are being stored in our county buildings, we should only have people that are authorized to work in the Board of Elections to have access to these rooms. But unfortunately, we can't even allow the public to see it with surveillance camera. And to make things even more concerning is it's the Democrats that are trying to prevent login sheets to let everybody know who's going in and out and having access to these ballots, which only opens the door for more nefarious behavior to happen during our elections.
And they're also against the use of voter ID, which is funny because, you know, I'm down in Florida part-time. And in Florida, right now we're in New Jersey, but in Florida, when I'm down there, we've had voter ID laws as long as I've been there. I've been there since 1998, and you are issued when you first register, you're given a voter ID card. When you go to show up to vote in person, you show that card. If you don't have the card with you, then you need 2 forms of other ID. But it's been part of the process there forever. Nobody has complained in Florida that they've been deprived the right to vote. If, by the way, you don't have the right ID, they still let you do voting by a provisional ballot, and then you come back and show that you do have ID. So they make it fair. There's a way to do it. But they clearly don't want people to vote with ID in New Jersey for a reason.
And that's the thing that's really baffling to me, because if we live in a secure, if we have a government with a secure election process, nobody would be questioning these kinds of things. I think that it makes common sense that if the people's vote is to be trusted with the Board of Elections, we should have the right to be able to see these ballots, see what's happening at any given time. And if there's ever an opportunity for the chain of custody to be broken, it only allows for these kinds of scenarios to happen. I mean, for example, during the 2024 election, we had some discrepancies going on in our race, and I recently released an audio in response to what the NJ GOP was talking about. They had concerns with the security of our ballots, and we actually had someone who we saw on social media who was able to post images of ballots that were supposed to be secure, that were not supposed to be tampered with. He posted it on social media. I decided to reach out to him and ask him several questions. And I released this audio. And for the record, I don't think that the person in that audio was responsible for any of the things that happened. In my opinion, it seemed like it was more of a cry for help regarding some of the things that he did see. Because being that the current Democratic chairman, John Kerry, is also on the Board of Elections, he had some kind of tie through his mother with him. And I think he was trying to share some information that he believes that people needed to get out there. And I'm actually glad that he did do that. And he was forthcoming enough to have that conversation with me, because a lot of this would have never been brought to light. And I think that people should really pay very close attention to this. And I hope that the members in Trenton make the right decision.
Yeah, this is the thing too. What gets me is, look, you know lots of good Democrats. I know lots of good Democrats. I'd say the vast majority of Democrats, they just want to go fair and square. They want to go in the race like the Republicans do. So this is not a party-wide thing. But there are clearly some people who feel that, you know what, we control the governorship, we control the assembly, we control the Senate, we control the state Supreme Court, we have 9 of the 12 congressional seats, we have both U.S. Senate seats, yada, 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 we have the governor, so that we could get away with what we want because nobody's going to investigate us. And I think that's part of the problem. So you have a few people at the top who think that if I do something, no one's going to check, so why not? This is the problem, just like in New York City, when you have one party controlling everything, there are no checks and balances.
Exactly. And the thing that I think is interesting is, like, listen, if the chairman of the Democratic Party wants to be on the Board of Elections, then I think you should also forfeit that position. I don't think that someone who's in charge of the party should have that much influence. That's something that's been the case here in Passaic County since I was even a concept in my parents' mind before I even got to this planet. But that always seems to be the case. And I think that so long as we keep having the muddling in between parties, we have a singular party rule for the most part, not just here in Passaic, but across the state, we're going to continue to see things like this. That's why I'm looking forward to the election of Jack Ciattarelli at the end of this year. One of the things that's a top priority for him is requesting voter ID. But in order for that to happen, we're going to need to secure the assembly. And I'm encouraging everybody to make sure they get out and vote. Early voting begins September 24th. That's this coming Saturday. Make sure you get out there and vote. And election day is November 4th. We have the opportunity to secure our elections, secure our state. So make sure you get out there and vote for Jack Ciattarelli and the Republican ticket.
You know, it's fascinating. Nothing irks me more than when I hear people say, yeah, I went out and voted. I voted for the president. That's all I vote for. I don't care about everything else on the ballot. I get incensed. I'm like, what is the point of voting for the top of the ticket and not the other seats? Because that person is not, as we just found out this weekend, is not the king. Because they have to work with a state assembly and a state senate. You have to give them the team, whether it be the left or the right, in order for them to have the ability to get the job done. By the way, here's a quick aside. A friend of mine dug up a 2012 tweet back when it was Twitter, a 2012 tweet saying that a poll of Democrats, have you seen this? A poll of Democrats showed that a majority of Democrats in 2012 said that they wish Obama was king. Isn't that funny? I'll send you the tweet when we get off. So Democrats in 2012 said they wanted a King Obama, and if they could make that happen, they would. And it's most of the same people who are saying, no kings this weekend when they say Orange Man bad. I just found that entirely hysterical. Anyway, you are still running for Congress, sir, but your race is for next year. How are things looking in the long haul? Do you feel the vibe shifting one way or the other?
Absolutely. And I see that happening not just in my race, but also in the gubernatorial race. I mean, statewide, people have been fatigued by what the Democratic Party has been doing for the past couple of years. They claim to support the people, but when you look at the surface of it, they're going against the interests of what the American people actually want. I mean, for example, even with this leaked audio recording that I put out on my social media yesterday, now there's members in the Senate that are trying to vote to remove a single party recordings, which would allow you to continue to record conversations so long as they're consent of one party. And the question that bothers me is if they had nothing to hide and everything is on the up and up, our elections are secure, put a camera inside the room. I mean, if we have the right to record conversations and if this exposes the nefarious behavior of some people, then I don't think that that should be limited as well. When I see the Democratic Party operating in that way, it shows me that not only do you want this chicanery to continue, but you want to continue to cover it up and strengthen it. And I think that that's wrong. The American people are waking up to that, and the people in New Jersey are willing to take their chances with a party that they've been lied to for many, many years. And now they have the opportunity to see something differently. Our party has been bringing that to the forefront, and I look forward to helping flip this state red.
Billy Prempa, 5 words. Daylight is the best disinfectant. If you have nothing to hide, right, let everybody see. There's no reason. Let's be totally transparent. He is a Republican running for Congress in New Jersey's 9th Congressional District. Billy Prempa, thank you for coming on this morning. By the way, that's the Patterson area for those who don't realize what the 9th District is. Always good to have you on, my friend.
Take care, brother.
You bet. You bet. Definitely. You too. Well, listen, when we come back, how is your mental health? This country is in a mental health crisis. We're going to talk to an expert about it, so don't go away. We're going to have mixed sun and clouds today. A little overnight rain we had last night, but it's going to be cooler today with a little breeze. Highs today only in the low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta when we return. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away.
I'm Jack Chitterelli, born and raised right here in New Jersey, where it's never been harder for the middle class. As governor, I have a plan to fix our state. In Congress, the only thing Mikey Sherrill fixed is our bank account.
Well, did you make $7 million in stock trades at all? Or?
I haven't. I don't believe I did, but I'd have to go see what that was alluding to again.
Come on, who wouldn't know if they made $7 million? New Jersey needs a governor who gets it. Mikey Sherrill doesn't. I do.
Very good morning to you. 58 degrees now in northern New Jersey. It is 54 in Trenton, 55 in Vineland. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back. Did I say 7:30? 7:47. I got to get the time straight. Here we go. Good morning. It's 7:47. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Mixed sun and clouds today. A little breezy and cooler than yesterday. Highs low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta. I would take a sip of my cafe because I think I need that. You have the full Garden State forecast for us. Salute, my friend.
You salute. I went upstairs and I forgot to make one. That's how tired I am. I forgot to have another coffee. It's just one of those days. So
That's
yeah.
awful.
You know, I'm at that phase of parenthood where you always drink cold coffee or cold tea because you're just running around and you forget to drink it anyway. So deep breaths, deep breaths. You need that Zen rejoiner again to just keep playing in the background. Yeah. Thank you, Pam. She's gonna take care of it for us. We're gonna start off with a little bit of a cool morning, but it's not as chilly as it has been in mornings past. It's actually quite mild, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, even though we only warm into the mid 60s, about 5 degrees cooler than yesterday's highs. There will be a healthy dose of clouds returning this afternoon, even though it's beautiful sunshine right now, as the afternoon sun works through, helping to help more clouds develop later on in the day. It's like this atmospheric thing that happens this time of year. We start off nice and sunny, and then as that sun rises, it helps more clouds develop. Still very dry with the severe drought continuing up in northern New Jersey. This map will update tomorrow, so I think we'll see a little bit of an improvement to the drought with that 1/4 inch of rain that we got last night. And still in that small deficit. Oh, see, this improved because this updates all the time with the new rainfall amounts. Now we're only at a 1-inch deficit up in Sussex, but still up to 2 inches in Morristown and Flemington. So that red area is shrinking That's some good news, even though we're expected to be slightly warmer than average in the northern corner of the state through the end of the month. A little bit more wet weather coming at us through the first few days of November, so anticipating some wet weather there. But beyond that, the 7-day forecast looks dry. We're clear from this point forward. No more substantial rain other than a quick passing sprinkle in certain spots. I think tomorrow and Friday afternoon. But it's the weekend that remains dry. Temperatures in the upper 50s. It'll feel nice and cool into next week and stays dry and sunny throughout Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. It's the shore points that are a little bit cooler going into this weekend, but still low 60s to end each afternoon, upper 40s to start each morning. Looks quite nice and feeling much like fall, Ken, over the next few days. Hey, no big storms, no big nor'easters. We're looking ahead to some quiet weather.
This just in, Mike. My amateur meteorologist status says we're going to get a southwester. What the hell is that?
Who said that? A southwester?
I don't know. I'm making it up. I'm making it up.
Okay.
Just see, you do need coffee. I said my amateur
did I miss
meteorologist.
something?
My amateur meteorologist status. So this is why you are the meteorologist, and I just go, wow. All right, Mike, you know I appreciate you. I will not talk about the Southwesters headed our way.
It's okay. I'll get the IV drip of caffeine going soon.
Believe me, I have one hanging right behind me. All right, Mike, we'll check back, sir. It is currently, what do we have here? 56 degrees northern New Jersey, 54 in Trenton. It's 54 Vineland, New Jersey. And in terms of traffic, let's go to the Garden State Parkway if we can right now. There's a disabled vehicle. You can see just where the brake lights start up there. There's a disabled vehicle. It's been there for about 45 minutes now. And this is, let's see. It is northbound at exit 136 Stiles Street in Cranford Township. The center lane is blocked. So it's really at the top of the screen there. You can see that's where they're slowing down as they head into that. We have a problem on the Goethals Bridge with a crash westbound midspan in Elizabeth. The right shoulder is now blocked. That originally was the middle lane. So they apparently have gotten it to the right shoulder, but it's still causing some big delays for the folks there. We go over to 287 and an ongoing problem there. It's 287 southbound from north of exit 14, Route 22 to north of exit 13, Route 28 in Bridgewater Township. All lanes are open, but look at that. It's now dead stopped. So it's actually gotten worse in the last half hour as we've been reporting this crash. We have a crash now on 280 eastbound west of exit 9 Pleasant Avenue, Route 660 in West Orange with the 2 left lanes of the 4 lanes closed, and a crash on Route 24 eastbound. It's from exit 9B Hobart Gap Road in Milburn to east of exit 9B Milburn Springfield in Springfield Township. All lanes are open. Your approaches to the Hudson River right now, it's now 35 minutes at either the Lincoln or the Holland. GWB not looking that much better either, with about 35 to 40 on the upper level on the right, 40 to 45 lower level on the left. 7:52, and here in New Jersey and across the country, people are stressed out, and many children and teens are feeling the pressure for sure, with mental health becoming a defining issue for the next generation. How can we better emotionally support students? Josephine Hunt is an educational leader, a speaker, and instructional coach with a clear mission: teaching our students resiliency. And we welcome her now. Good morning to you, Josephine.
Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Ken.
Good to have you on. And tell us what inspired teaching our students resiliency and why is it so important right now?
So we're seeing trends of high anxiety among children under the age of 6. We thought at one point,
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pause you. I'm going to pause you for a second. You know what you got to do? Lower the volume on the side where we had technical issues leading up to this. So if you lower the volume by half on your phone, you won't hear the echo back. So we'll let you do that. That's our fault, not her fault, folks. So because we had the phone connectivity issues. So all right. So we'll let you start again from there. So talk about the resiliency again, please.
Sure. So we've been receiving a lot of data regarding students' anxiety and stress and depression and hopelessness especially. And it's been increasing by 40%, where students and children under the ages of 18 are struggling with just their emotional wellness. And we thought it was really related to COVID, but as we look further back, it really started back in 2010 and 2012 when the phones came out because of the screen time and social media. And psychologists and sociologists are recognizing that now it's becoming even more of a parenting concern, because with the data that's showing up, it's parents are having a challenging time on how to help their children, work through these challenges. And so parenting trends are showing up about children having less resiliency during difficult times. And we're seeing that resiliency is something that we're not born with. It's something that we need to work on like a muscle. So if you're at a gym and you're working with a weight that's 5 pounds, and you're working with it for about 10, 12 days, and you get comfortable with it, your growth is going to plateau. And the same goes with resiliency. We have to increase the discomfort in order to have growth and evolving for our children to work through the challenges of social behaviors and so forth.
That's interesting. So you have to go through that little stress level, if you will, to de-stress, but you have to get over that hump. So talk about how schools are adapting to meet the emotional needs of their students.
So we're working through those kinds of like conflict resolutions and MTSS and SEL programs in order to best meet the needs of our students. We're considering screen time and social media. We're also recognizing that students are calling behaviors and actions as bullying, when some of it is just really regular milestones in student behavior. And so we have to really just consider all of those components.
Yeah. And you know what, by the way, while I ask you the next question, tap down that volume just a little more. We're almost there. It's the echo because of the volume of your phone coming out. Usually we tell people to wear the earpiece so that doesn't happen, but it's common. It's happened. We do this every day. What are you hoping to convey to audiences when you speak? And what has the response been? Have people gotten the concept and embraced this?
What we really want for teachers, educators, and parents is to allow their children or students to really go through the natural and logical consequences of life and their behaviors and their actions in a safe manner, of course, not where it's unsafe, but let them deal with and work through the discomforts of not completing their homework on time, or being late for something. Let them have the natural and logical consequences. Parents are over parenting in their real lives versus the virtual world. And so it's really important that parents oversee their screen time. It's more important to get involved that way as a parent, rather than bringing in their homework if it's late or doing it for them. So it's really like a shift of mind, a mind shift of how we handle parenting and education.
That's fascinating, because so we're not saying that screen time is always bad. No, there's a way to discuss it and have screen time where it's helpful, and there's a time when you can enjoy your screen time without overdoing it. So that's kind of a nice compromise where the parent and the child can work together. What are the age groups that you would say are most at risk right now?
That are most, sorry?
What age groups are most at risk? Is it the younger folks, like under 12? Is it over 15? I mean, is there a specific age group that is most at risk for the stress?
Across the globe, they're seeing that ages 10 to 14 are having higher suicide thoughts and also implementing it as well. So it's a really big epidemic. The brain is pruning out like executive functioning and emotional regulation because it's giving more screen time building. So whatever we spend a lot of time on with our brain is where our brain is going to develop more neurons and learning and handling. And so when we remove, regular physical learning and with social media or technology, our brain is going to adapt to that.
That's fascinating. And as a friend of mine who's a therapist had told me, he said, when you have somebody of that age range, they don't have the grasp of history that we have as adults. So when they see something that stresses them out, everything is an exponential, not exponential, I should say, an existential threat, because they don't have the history in their minds to know that, oh, don't worry, we've gotten through this before. So everything looks like, oh my God, my whole life is over to somebody who's that age, right?
Right. And it's true. We're lucky at our age to see that, like, the before and after, but the children that are, of ages under 18 and so forth, they don't know that before and after the phones, life without a phone and social media. And so as parents, it's really important, and educators, to really keep an eye on like what the children are working on and what they're exposing themselves to. They really need more like face-to-face engagement, and outside play, and unstructured time. And that's become less and less. I mean, I'm not sure if you see, but there's less and less children that are outside playing and having regular, normal, play and conflict time. Instead, they're, having play dates on their phones. Like they'll actually have a gaming, settings where they're at their own house in isolation, and it's dark and sad, and they are socially involved, but it's in that over the screen manner, and that physical dynamic is being lost.
Josephine, what's a website for people to get more information about you guys, about you?
You can reach me at Josephine Valaric Hunt at gmail.com, and I can give you any information you want, especially all the experts I've been working with. I've been very lucky to have some really fascinating psychologists and psychoanalysts who really just brought a lot out. And Jonathan Haidt is an excellent resource. He wrote The Anxious Generation, and he was the one it was his work, as well as Tom Kirsting's work, Distracted and Disconnected, that really spawned my work in this. And I just wanted to bring that information and support to educators and parents to best support our children's needs.
Teaching our students resiliency. Josephine Hunt, thanks for coming on this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. 8 o'clock right now, and we have 55 degrees. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back.
I'm Jack Chitterelli, born and raised right here in New Jersey, where it's never been harder for the middle class. As governor, I have a plan to fix our state. In Congress, the only thing Mikey Sherrill fixed is our bank account.
Well, did you make $7 million in stock trades at all? Or?
I haven't. I don't believe I did, but I'd have to go see what that was alluding to again.
Come on, who wouldn't know if they made $7 million? New Jersey needs a governor who gets it. Mikey Sherrill doesn't. I do.
Very good morning, 8:02, Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a little cool down in the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. This is yesterday's coffee. I didn't finish and had to reheat. This is the level. The level
Does
of
it have
caffeine.
a ring? Do you have a ring in the cup?
We're calling it latent caffeine because latent heat is like the delayed heat of the day. This is latent caffeine. It's just,
caffeine.
It's the kind of day you need. I know, so nerdy, right? It doesn't even make sense. But we have a little bit of rain this morning across some parts of the state. And with that, the dry weather quickly moves in for the afternoon. So the live radar right now at 8:03 showing most of those light sprinkles working their way across the Pennsylvania border into New Jersey. And then another quick round right now down along the Atlantic City Expressway, moving eastward quickly. All of this transitioning to the east. And beyond that, I think we'll see nice dry weather for the remainder of the day. So those showers now wrapping up. If you see any light sprinkles, need to put the windshield wipers on for a few minutes. Won't have to do that in the next hour or so. With temperatures that begin in the mid-50s, it's mild at the moment, milder than we're used to, especially with yesterday being so chilly. 16 degrees warmer than this time yesterday in Flemington, 13 degrees warmer in Morristown, 10 degrees warmer in Long Branch, and 5 warmer than this time yesterday in Newark. And with the dew points holding in the 50s, it's still, there's a touch of humidity to the air, thanks to that southwesterly wind pushing in another round of mild weather through this afternoon. We picked up almost 0.2 of an inch of rain down the shore, a little bit more up toward Newark and Hackensack, so a good soaking. That's why some of the ground is wet this morning. You see the raindrops on the car top, got a nice light rain overnight. And now, with the gusty breezes at about 21 miles per hour in Toms River, we'll see another round of gusty winds this afternoon, upwards of maybe 20, perhaps even 30 miles per hour along the boardwalk. But it's from the south and west direction. So again, pushing in another mild fetch of air. And yes, tomorrow afternoon, breezy again. It is fall after all, keeping those weather systems nearby, kind of giving us those breezes each and every afternoon. With that, the futurecast starts off nice and clear to begin the day, and that sun warms us nicely into the 60s. By this afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock, you'll see highs hold in the mid 60s, but some clouds return into this evening. Maybe a few sprinkles, these little dots of green you see around, not worthy of carrying around the umbrella all day. You probably won't even run into one. And then chilly again tomorrow morning, climbing only into the 50s. So a little bit of a cool down as we step toward cooler weather each and every day. Around freezing up north by Friday morning, transitioning to a mix of sun and clouds Friday afternoon. And then the weekend starting off dry, cool each morning. Again, 30s for most of the state, 40s along the shore to start off our Saturday, with Saturday afternoon warming only into the 50s with clouds. So yeah, it'll feel much more like fall into this weekend. I think more clouds on Saturday. Sunday actually turns out sunnier with a nice dry weather system shaping up for the few days beyond that. So with a few extra clouds around and cooler weather on the way for the rest of this week, Sunday turns brighter and Monday and Tuesday warms up as well. Only into the upper 50s, but still, it'll feel nice when you're standing in the sunshine trying to enjoy the last of the, longer daylight hours, because remember, it's not this weekend, it's next weekend. We fall back and set those clocks back as daylight saving time ends. So yeah, that's when the sun sets after around like 4:30, 4:45, and it gets pitch black by 5 o'clock. It's around the corner.
There you go. Is next week, I got it now, I'm confused with my weekends. Is not this weekend coming, but the following, I think that's the TCS New York City Marathon.
You know it is. I was typing the forecast this morning during the commercial break because they get their forecast 2 weeks early. Yep. So that is it. I will be on site. 15 years. Year 15 for me.
Where are you going to be?
Oh, I'm at the finish line. I'm in the command center. I've been doing it for 15 years now.
Well, guess who's going to be one of the anchors on WOR radio for the whole nation? Did you not know that?
I did not know that.
I'll be over at exit at 20. I'll be at mile marker 20 though in the Bronx.
Okay,
so I'll come over and see you before I come back.
Fantastic.
Good deal. By the way, for those who don't realize, Mike Favetta and I have never met in public.
Oh my goodness.
No, I don't think I've ever met you.
Briefly at the Christmas party we had last year.
You're right.
Remember?
I take it back.
It was maybe 20 seconds because we were running in each other's direction. And then you were going to Florida and then all the...
That's right. I was going to Florida that day. How funny.
Mm-hmm.
But we're together on the air every day for hours, every single day, and we've only seen each other in person, but for a second. So now we could get to say hi. So, all right, we'll see you then, sir. Enjoy. We'll catch you a little bit. 55 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 53 in Trenton. And in terms of traffic, we do have that too. Garden State Parkway still have this ongoing issue, and this is by, let's see, where do we have it? Of course, it just disappeared, Pam, as I'm talking to everybody. This is by exit 1. Here we go. Got it. So delays here, 136 northbound from south of Colonia service area, Woodbridge to exit 136 Stiles Street in Cranford is a 4.5 mile delay. That's as fast as it goes right there, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So just be prepared for that. That is due to an earlier crash that got cleared up. But as a result, now 4.5 miles of just volume that built up. Over to the New Jersey Turnpike now that we go. There's a crash on the Turnpike Inner Roadway southbound north of Interchange 9, which is Route 18 in New Brunswick. The right lane is blocked on the Turnpike. So this is what we have there. There you go. So as these folks come around the bend, they're going to hit that and you have nothing but bumper to bumper. Crash now on 287 southbound north of exit 14, Route 22 to north of exit 13, Route 28, Bridgewater Township. All lanes open, but very heavy now. Also on 287, there's a crash north of exit 14. No, I just did that. Excuse me. They repeated it here on the sheet. We have a crash on Route 24, eastbound from exit 9B, Hobart Gap, to east of 9B, Milburn, Springfield Township. So it's about a mile and a half or so with all lanes open, but very slow. Your approaches to the Hudson River now, Lincoln and Holland both reporting kind of heavy traffic all morning long with 35-minute crossover times. GWB upper and lower levels now, 80-95 approach on the left. You're looking at lower on the right, upper, and either way is going to cost you 45 minutes. 8:09 is our time, and October is Pet Wellness Month. It's a time to shine a light on the health and happiness of our furry family members. While regular vet visits are important, many pet parents are also exploring holistic options to keep their pets thriving. And joining us this morning is Dr. Alexia Chakiris, who is an integrative veterinarian and the founder of Naturopathic Veterinary Wellness Center in Red Bank. See what we did there? She combines conventional veterinary care with holistic therapies to offer a truly comprehensive approach to pet wellness. And Dr. Chakiris, welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. Good to have you on.
Thank you for having me, Ken, and thank you for recognizing my fun play on words there.
Yes, I love that. Any use of the word paw is always good. I need to ask you because I've had dogs for many years. In fact, this is the longest gap now that I haven't had one for about a year and a half. And I saw my two young dogs, especially one who was not even 9, a Pomeranian who was as active as could be, suddenly and out of nowhere developed cancer in his mid upper forearm, if you will. I call it the arm. And out of nowhere, and within weeks, it took him. He was fine before that, I thought. The question is, and my vet, who was now retired and has seen a lot of dogs, said, back when I was a kid, these dogs didn't just randomly develop cancer. What is going on? Is it the crap that they're feeding them in the commercial formulations? What is going on?
It's literally everything. It is everything from not just the formulations. It's not the formulations, it's how it's made. High heat processed food. Unfortunately, our soil is depleted of nutrients nowadays. Our air is full of chemicals, our water, you know what I mean? So we're just doing our best to keep ourselves healthy given the environment that we're in right now.
So now, just so everyone knows, and I should have asked this off the top, describe the difference between a conventional veterinarian and an integrative vet. And you are the integrative vet.
I am the integrative vet. I started out as the conventional vet, and my conventional veterinary training was 5 years of the most intense studying I've ever done in my life. And unfortunately, a year after being out, I was realizing I was seeing the same patients with the same problems over and over. And I was treating the symptoms and they were doing okay, but then they'd be back. And so there was a whole gap in my medical knowledge. And I was trying to figure out how to help my patients better. So that is when I found acupuncture and then herbal medicine and chiropractic, and you go down the rabbit hole and you realize this is how I can fill those gaps where conventional medicine is missing answers. So I use acupuncture, herbs, nutrition, name it, we may do it, or I'll refer you to someone else, but to help really create the best medicine for the patients, because everything's limited. It's the world we live in.
My former vet, when I had my dogs, used to say the one thing about treating animals is they're non-discriminatory. They're not mentally pushed one way or the other to give you an opinion about whether a therapy worked. Either it works or it doesn't. And it tends to work a lot faster in animals because they're smaller and have higher metabolisms, right, than humans. So you give an antibiotic, you get a quicker response generally with animals. But at the same time, it's hard that you can't talk to them, but it is amazing. And I have the utmost of respect for you veterinarians, because for those that don't realize, human doctors only have to deal with one species. You could be presented with a lizard, you could be presented with a cat, you could be presented with a kangaroo, and you got to figure out how to treat them all, right?
Yes. And we have to learn about all of them. And it's almost like being a super pediatrician in a way, where none of our patients can talk back to us, and having to be a good detective and get to the underlying problem of things without them being able to tell us it hurts here, or this is bothering me, or I'm nauseous.
So next time, I was going to say, next time people complain about the vet bill, consider that. Consider you're getting 5 to 10 years of studies here for somebody, as opposed to conventional medical school for human medical doctors. When is the right time to bring the pet to the vet? Because I think so many people say, Fido is acting differently. Fido is not eating, but I don't want to take him to the vet. When is the time to bring the pet to the vet?
Honestly, I think the best time is before they're not acting right. So I really like twice a year visits, blood work once a year. Even if they're looking great, let's get a baseline on things and know where they're at so that we can keep track of changes through physical exams. We can keep track of changes. And then when Fido's not themselves, or hopefully before, my goal is before, we're using herbs, diet, acupuncture, whatever it is, when we're noticing a trend to slow the progression of an issue down. But if we can stay on top of what the baseline is, then hopefully we're able to help the patient to come back into balance and heal.
Doctor, what would you, if somebody's getting a pup, and by the way, that somebody might be me soon. If somebody is getting a pup, and I tend to get rescues, not that I'm not trying to virtue signal, but I do tend to get rescues. If somebody's getting a pup and they're thinking about a specific kind of food or a specific way of feeding the dogs, like I had a friend who only gave raw foods and prepared it all themselves, organic, raw, that's it. What would you recommend? What would you tell your family member or friend who's adopting a little fur ball? What would you say? No, only feed the dog this and make sure this with their diet. What recommendation would you have?
No matter what, I want it to be fresh. We know that unfortunately the food that we were all taught was the best is super high heat processed, which makes it very pro-inflammatory. So we're not starting them off with like a great foundation. So fresh food is best. Whether it's cooked or raw, for me, depends on the patient and the family. So I don't have one way or another, but it also needs to be balanced. It's hugely important, especially with puppies, growing dogs, kittens, that we have a proper balanced diet. So if you're going to buy it from a commercial company, typically it's going to be AFCO certified so that you know it's balanced. Mm-hmm. If you're making it at home, then you really need to be in close contact with a veterinary nutritionist, diet formulator, so that you know you are giving your puppy the proper nutrients in the proper ratios from the beginning.
Yeah. After seeing what my poor little boy went through, my poor little boy puppy, doggy, Kobe, seeing how he just degraded from this happy running, the most energetic, happy, healthy dog, literally the dog that never got sick a day in his life, to dying in a matter of weeks, and how I had to hold him for the shot, which I'm traumatized for life from that. Seeing that, like, my quest in life is to make sure that everything that goes into a dog's mouth from this point on is going to be very carefully scoped out. I need to have you back on again and again, Dr. Alexia Chakiris, integrative veterinarian, founder of Naturopathic Veterinary Wellness Center in Red Bank. Unfortunately, I'm an hour and a half away from you, or else you would be my new regular vet, but I'll figure out a way. I will. I think
we can always do telemedicine.
Then you know what? I think then we may have a deal. Let's talk seriously about having you on a regular basis, if you don't mind. I would love to have you
Absolutely.
on again, please. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Have a great morning.
You too. It is 8:17. When we come back, a New Jersey native co-founds an athletic apparel brand. How to do it? And how can you be an entrepreneur yourself, possibly? We will ask. Mixed sun and clouds today, a little breezy and cooler than yesterday. Highs, low 60s. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're coming right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:18. We have 55 degrees now in northern New Jersey, and we are taking your calls at 888-658-0234. A little breezy and cooler than yesterday, highs low 60s. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the top to bottom Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. A little bit of a gusty breeze this morning, but a milder wind from the south and west, prompting the small craft advisory through 6 o'clock today. for those gusty breezes at the shore, but everybody will see the winds throughout the afternoon, especially after the clouds clear out. Most of them are now long gone, bringing back loads of sun this morning, helping us to warm from the upper 50s now into the low and mid 60s by this afternoon, back through Freehold 63 degrees. So there were the showers from last night moving eastward quickly, and now with the clearing that takes over, we'll see a fair amount of sunshine today. There will be a few more rounds of clouds come through. You see this whole system spiraling over the Great Lakes, not really moving very quickly. So it just gives us another wave of clouds today, another wave of clouds tomorrow. I don't think there's any rain with these clouds, but you might run into a quick 5-minute sprinkle this afternoon and again tomorrow afternoon. As far as the dew points or the temperature where the air is saturated, it is very dry comparatively. We should be this dry for this time of year. We're right in between that humid and dry scene. So it'll look quite nice into tomorrow and feel quite pleasant, feeling like October should. Now, the end of the weekend fares nice and sunny, as opposed to Monday, which is also still dry, and Tuesday, we keep most of these showers and clouds offshore, maybe get a few clouds offshore, down the shore, in fact, through the end of the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. But even most of next week remaining dry, any showers should stay down to our south. So the chances of rain beyond today are pretty low. That's good news for any fall festivities this weekend. Apple picking, pumpkin picking, whatever you please, with plenty of sunshine, 58 degrees both days, temperatures holding just below average, feeling quite pleasant, lots of sunshine. Overall, doing good in the weather department. We'll keep that clear weather around into next week and talk more about Melissa coming up, new tropical system that was named yesterday. We've got the update for you from the Hurricane Center. Just came in at 8 a.m. That's in a few minutes, Ken.
I don't like to talk behind Melissa's back. I'm just saying because she can come back with a vengeance. But yeah, for a lot of people that don't realize, I love people who are, especially people not from like Florida, et cetera, or the hurricane belt, the whole
Right.
southeast. They think that hurricane season ends when summer ends. And no, that's when it's just ramping up, right? This is when
Yeah,
it gets super busy and it runs
that's
through
right.
the end of November. But isn't October like the September, October is busy, busy, busy time, right?
It's the peak. Yeah, the peak. The most named storms historically happen during September and October.
There you have it. Having been in Florida for 25 years, 27 years, indeed, having lived through many of them. All right, Mike, we appreciate it. We know you'll keep an eye on Melissa. Just let's not talk behind her back. That's all. We'll check back with you, sir. It is 57 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 53 in Trenton, 55 now in Vineland. In terms of traffic, let's go over to I-280 right now. We have a crash on 280 eastbound, west of exit 9, Pleasant Avenue in West Orange. 2 left lanes closed right now. That's what you got, what you see on your screen. It's a mess. And over to the Jersey Turnpike Inner Roadway southbound north of Interchange 9, we have a crash by Route 18 in New Brunswick with the right lane blocked. To 287, there's a crash now southbound north of exit 14, which is Route 22, to north of exit 13, Route 28, Bridgewater Township. All lanes are open, but this has been heavy for about an hour. And we have a crash on Route 24 eastbound from 9B Hobart Gap to Hobart Avenue, Milburn, east of 9B. Milburn, Springfield, and Springfield Township, all lanes open, but again, very heavy through there. Hudson River crossings have been a challenge all morning long, with the Lincoln and Holland both reporting 35-minute delays going over. Look at the GWB approach 8095. Your upper level is moving okay. It's about 25 minutes. That's on the right, but on the left, that's the lower level, and they're still reporting 35 to 40 minutes. It is 8:23, and there is a major launch that has local roots and national ambitions. Joining us is Chris Riccobono, who is a New Jersey native and entrepreneur who co-founded the athletic apparel brand Greatness Wins, built on celebrating the hard work and dedication behind greatness. And we welcome him now. Good morning, Chris.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on. Tell us what inspired you to start Greatness Wins, and how did your background of being a New Jersey guy influence you?
Well, I originally started the company on Tuck It. So I was in the fashion space, and I thought I solved the problem there with a short shirt that fit better worn untucked. Over the pandemic, I had some downtime. Our 90 stores were closed, and I was thinking about another area that I could improve on or that I had issues with. And it was in the athletic space that the big time athletic brands, the quality just wasn't there anymore. And the athleisure brands, which had great quality, they just weren't meant for performance. So I wanted to create a higher level athletic brand. And I got in touch with Derek Jeter, who's, you know, a legend both on and off the field, and he had the same issues as I did. And about 3 years ago, we began the process of launching the brand.
I love it. And by the way, in my closet right now, I have at least 5 Untuckit shirts that I bought way back when you first started. So I was a big, big fan. I used to be a lot heavier than I am now, and I know Untuckit fits for no matter what your weight. But when I was heavier, I never wanted to tuck in the shirts. When you tuck them in, it kind of accentuated the overhang of the belly. And having the Untuckit
Yeah.
was like an answer to my dreams. So you probably helped millions of guys around the country with Untuck It because it made wearing an untucked shirt a neat thing instead of sloppy looking. And all I used to hear from my other half is tuck in your shirt, tuck in your shirt. And I
Yeah.
didn't have to do that. So I'm sincerely, I mean that. You
Thank
don't,
you.
I don't think you even realize what kind of a service you did to guys in this country with that. So now the name Greatness Wins is a big statement, obviously. How would you describe sort of the ethos or the concept? Like when did you say, you know what, this is what it's got to be called?
Well, naming is very important to me. Naming Untuckit is the best thing I ever did because you're competing with a lot of brands. You need to find every which way to stick out and tell a story. And it's funny because when I went to Derek Jeter with the name, he actually called me and said he's going to pass on the concept because of the name. And I tried to explain to him, I said, it's the most important part of the brand. It has meaning, just like Just Do It did, let's say 30 years ago. And no one names their brand Greatness Wins. So you're never going to forget about it if you hear about it at a cocktail party or a buddy calls you and tells you about it. Or if you're walking in the mall now and you see a store called Greatness Wins, you're kind of intrigued because you're like, what is this about? So now Derek loves the brand, and we're trying to, you know, even for the youth, like parents love buying our product for their kids because there's a meaning there that greatness does win. And when you have Derek Jeter, who's one of the greatest of all time, it kind of adds to the story. So to be honest, the main reason I did it was from a marketing perspective so that it really resonated. And when you hear people talking about it, you don't forget about it. But it also, from a storytelling and from a meaning perspective, we make hoodie tees and we write the word greatness wins up here, and people will buy our product just because of that, because it's a conversation piece, because it has a meaning. So I love the name, and I think it's been paying off so far.
Indeed, and that will be my next stop online today when I get off with you to find that website and check it out. This sounds amazing. Talk about what well, you don't have to name obviously the other athletic brands, but what was lacking in the other athleisure products that made you say we need to come up with something better here?
It came out over the pandemic. I was wearing the athleisure brands to kind of go out to coffee, and then I would change in for my run into a poor fitting athletic brand that didn't last long. So the athleisure brands are amazing. Don't get me wrong. I love, you know, we all know the names of the top two or three. It's just if you feel the fabric, any true performance fabrics, they're not meant to work out. They're meant to look good. So I wanted to create a product that was meant to look good, but the first thing had to start with performance. So now, if you want to go for a long run, or you want to go to the gym, or you want to play tennis, or whatever the sport may be, you're still looking very modern. It's funny, all the top athletes in the country who get these huge allocations from the top brands, they get them sent, they give them to their buddies, and then they go buy the athleisure brands. So I thought, why not create a brand that you'd work out, that the top athletes would want, but they'd be wearing the same stuff when they're going to hang out, pick up their kids at school, or going to get coffee. So it's really just a mix of a athleisure meets performance. And the only real difference is that we design it with performance in mind first, but we make sure that it has a very modern, great fit.
This is the difference between the average mind and the brilliant entrepreneur mind, because I could just tell your gears are always turning. You're looking at saying, how can I improve that? How can I? The average person just doesn't do that. I don't do that. You look at everything through a different lens, and I find it fascinating. So launching a brand like that, a brand with purpose, isn't easy. Obviously, you've talked about that. I mean, even just talking to somebody as great as Derek Jeter, whom everybody loves, who doesn't love Derek Jeter, and getting his ear and saying, "Hey, I got an idea here." What are the biggest challenges been so far? And on top of that, I'm going to give you a part two. You kept it in New Jersey, right? You do a lot of your work right here. So how hard has that been, or how easy has it been?
I live in New Jersey. Our best Untuckit store in the entire country out of 90 of them is in Short Hills. So we just recently opened a store in Short Hills, actually right across from the Untuckit store for Greatness Wins. But yeah, no, listen, starting a brand is very hard. It's much different than when I started Untuckit. Untuckit, we were one of the first 3 or 4 brands to ever do paid social. Now you go on your Instagram account. If you Google Greatness Wins, you'll be hit with 90 different athletic brands. So it's the most competitive it's ever been. It's very expensive to acquire a customer, which, by the way, is the reason I opened the store. We opened the store earlier than most brands do for the size of us. But most men want to come in and touch and feel the product. And I know if they go into the store and they do that, they're going to buy it. Online, you might look at it and say, oh, it's not inexpensive. It looks nice, but I'm going to pass today. But when you're in that store, we convert at a very high rate because once you try on the product, you'll see the differences and why it's so good. But yeah, listen, starting a brand is I only had 1 kid when I started Greatness Wins. I have 4 now under 8. So I'm not sure I would have done it again, but I did it. And as an entrepreneur, you never want any downtime. So I had this little moment when Untuckit was slow because of the pandemic, and I went for this now. So now I have two.
I'm
two different
scratching my
things I'm working
head,
on.
Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. You have 4 kids under 8, and you have a major national brand, and you started a second major brand. Yeah, you're just the average guy. Unbelievable. You're a machine, man. You're awesome. And by the way, yes,
Okay.
I was converted because my friend, who is 6'7" and always had issues with tucked shirts, he was wearing an untucked shirt. That's what, before I even saw your ads, that's what made me get impressed by it. And then I saw your ads after that, and I was convinced. That's when I became a customer. So yes, 100%. I felt the shirt and I was like, damn, it looked good. It fit well. It wasn't wrinkled. It just fit a guy's body perfectly. Tell everybody the website for the new brand here.
It's greatnesswins.com, and if you can, come visit us at Short Hills. I think you'd enjoy the experience of the store.
I'm very close to Short Hills, so you're darn tootin'. I'm going to be visiting you. So I wish you nothing but success. And come on when you have your third brand, whatever that is, because I'm sure it's going to be as great as the first 2. Chris Riccobono, come back on again, please. Co-founder of Greatness
Thanks a
Wins
lot for your time.
Athletic Apparel. You're awesome, man. All the best to you. Good to have you on.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks again.
You bet. Hey, wow, it's just there's something different about the mind of an entrepreneur like that, right? Just amazing. 8:31. When we come back, Jenkinson's Boardwalk in Point Pleasant Beach. Who doesn't love Jenkinson's? They've just announced an exciting new addition to the amusement park. We're going to talk all about it. Phone lines are open. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're back in a minute.
I'm Jack Chitterelli, born and raised right here in New Jersey, where it's never been harder for the middle class. As governor, I have a plan to fix our state. In Congress, the only thing Mikey Sherrill fixed is her bank account.
It says she made millions on the stock market, tripling her net worth while in Congress, and was then fined for unreported trades. Is that true or false?
So I think we made money.
Come on, who wouldn't know if they made $7 million? New Jersey needs a governor who gets it. Mikey Sherrill doesn't. I do.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard. We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
Morning, Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. We have 54 degrees. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Mixed sun and clouds today, a little breezy and cooler. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden Safe forecast. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Ken. It feels lovely outside, right? You've got the sun shining, birds chirping. Saw a little bunny hopping on the grass this morning. So, yes, it's one of those fall mornings that's crisp, that's cool, but warming throughout this afternoon. Already a few of those clouds working through the northwestern corner of the state there in the hills, maybe some entering down south. But overall, it's a dry start compared to the rain that we had overnight. A little bit of wet weather exiting now. Most of those showers already have moved east and will stay dry through this afternoon. With the sunshine this morning, that helps us warm into the mid and upper 60s. It'll feel lovely with all that morning sun into the afternoon. Camden 63, Glassboro 63 as well. That's right around average. We should be at 64 degrees. So feeling quite pleasant and dry. Now, there might be a few extra clouds develop this afternoon. That tends to happen this time of year with those gusty winds. Currently, winds anywhere from 7 to 15 miles per hour. But down in the tropics, there's a new named system. This is Tropical Storm Melissa, a large blob here you're starting to see. This will likely become a hurricane in the next 24 hours. So right now, maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. That's the latest update from the Hurricane Center, and forecast to become a Cat 1 storm by tomorrow morning into the afternoon, might even turn into a Cat 2 as the eye is forecast to be just south of Jamaica. This is important. Usually we talk about the cone of concern, that narrow stripe, if you will, that you start to see there. But then there's this large balloon that the Hurricane Center put out around the storm. That's simply because it is very unclear where the storm center will be and where the storm will go over the next 5 days. So lots of uncertainty with not only this storm track, but that translates to uncertainties in our forecast beyond next Thursday, because the storm may blow far out to sea, or it may come not up the coast, but near the U.S. coast, influencing our weather kind of indirectly. So that's why beyond Wednesday of next week, the forecast is a little unclear for us here in New Jersey. It just have to wait to see where Melissa wants to go. Our forecast going into Wednesday and Thursday brings back plenty of sunshine throughout today. A few afternoon clouds as well tomorrow, maybe a passing sprinkle off to our west. A 5-minute sprinkle may come by in northern New Jersey, but nothing to carry the umbrella for. And then another chilly start to the morning on Saturday, going into the weekend with temperatures starting each morning in the 30s, but climbing quickly back into the upper 50s. So that's what the cold front does: clears us out, dries us out, but brings back a few clouds each afternoon. All the showers should stay off to our north, dissipating by the time they reach us. It's still that upper level system that's giving a few clouds our way each afternoon through Saturday. Sunday clears out beautifully, though. Lots of sunshine. Cool, though. Temperatures feeling like fall, 58 degrees, and it will be lovely going into early next week, Monday and Tuesday as well. Beautiful weather to maybe take that stroll along the beach and boardwalk. A little chilly, especially if you're not wearing the appropriate layers, because throughout this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, highs will be in the low 60s, and that will feel lovely if you're in a sweatshirt at the shore on the boardwalk. But, a little bit fewer layers than that, I think it'll start to feel a little chilly. But overall, like fall. Looking good, Ken, all around New Jersey.
All right. Oh, we like talking about the shore. And by the way,
Yeah.
listen, we're going to talk about it in just a minute, because when you're into the end of October, what do I think of? Summer down the shore. So that's just giving you a hint of what our guests are going to be talking about in just a moment. But thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate you, buddy. It is now 56 degrees in northern New Jersey, and we have a temp of 53 in Trenton. It's now 54 degrees down in Cape May. And we have a crash to report. This is on I-280 eastbound, just west of exit 9 Pleasant Avenue in West Orange. The 2 left lanes of the 4 lanes are closed. It's kind of hard to see through all that glare, but if you look toward the right by where it says 0234, you can see they're only moving at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, very slow because of that crash. We have a crash on the Turnpike Inner Roadway southbound north of Interchange 9, Route 18 in New Brunswick, with the right lane blocked. A crash on 22 westbound east of Route 57 in Lopatcong Township with the right lane closed. We have something on 287 now. There is a crash southbound from north of exit 14, Route 22 to north of exit 13, Route 28 in Bridgewater. All lanes are open but slow. And a crash on Route 24 eastbound from exit 9B, Hobart Gap, just east of 9B, Milburn Springfield. So that's about a mile and a half. All lanes are open but causing some delays. Your Hudson River crossing still 30 to 35 at both the Lincoln and the Holland. GWB's picked up a little bit on the upper level. You could see on the right, it's moving pretty well, about 20 to 25 minute crossover time, but the lower level is still going to cost you 35 minutes. That's what you see on the left. 8:38, and we are looking ahead. This is what I was talking about with Mike, to a big thrill coming to the Jersey Shore. Why not think about summer? I do all the time when we're in October, because I don't like the cold. Sorry. Jenkinson's Boardwalk in Point Pleasant Beach has just announced an exciting new addition to its amusement park, the Patriots Run roller coaster. It is set to open this coming summer, and it'll be the tallest ride in the park. It's themed in honor of America's 250th celebration, which is this year, and designed with families in mind. And joining us this morning to talk about Jenkinson's new ride are Alex Taylor, the marketing and brand manager, and Vincent Storino, general manager. We say good morning to you, Alex and Vincent. Good to have you on.
Good morning.
Well, it's called Patriots Run. When did you decide to build this, and what was the inception, the inspiration behind it?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it. You mentioned about, coming to the shore, even though it's not summer, we're so busy here at the Jersey Shore. So, always think about coming to the beach, especially those, early, mid to 60 days. But anyways, the Patriots Run, it's been in the works for a couple of years now. It's one of those rides where, we had the ability to, working with our manufacturer to build it from scratch and kind of had the theme of what we wanted to do, custom colors, custom cars, everything. And when Vincent and I and our team were kind of workshopping the themes, we had over a dozen different themes we were thinking of. And one that really stood out was, honoring America, especially with our the America 250 coming up this upcoming year. And what better way to do that than, our largest roller coaster in the park. And you mentioned too that the Patriots Run is 35 feet high at its highest point. Our previous tallest roller coaster was 21 feet high. So that's a pretty significant height increase from previous rides. And, we're super excited, to get the, ball rolling with this and to offer our guests and our customers who've been coming to Jenkinson's for a generation something new and exciting, which, our customers are always looking for.
And for those who don't realize, Jenkinson's defines the Jersey Shore. You don't go to the Jersey Shore without having, depending on what beach you go to, you have to at least stop by, at Point Pleasant. You have to go to Jenkinson's. You have to hang out. It's just a perfect family venue. And we just thank you for being New Jersey, because you really helped define the state. You're one of the greatest landmarks we have. It's just amazing that you have to think years in advance. People think, oh, they realize it's America's 250th. They built a roller coaster. This is, as you said, years. So was this pre-pandemic that you came up with this?
No, I would say the summer of 24 we really started planning for
So
the
just
future.
post. That was
Yeah.
just post-pandemic, but it's a lot of planning, and you got to get permitting, and you have to find the firm to build it. That is an awful lot. The good news is, as much as Superstorm Sandy did what it did to Jenkinson's, you guys have roared back like nobody's business. So it's just great to see the strength and the resiliency. Talk about the kind of ride experience that a family can expect on that roller coaster.
Yeah, so most of our rides in our amusement park are geared towards younger children. Our core demographic, which you mentioned, is families. We pride ourselves on being, since 1928, Jenkinson's has been around, been a part of the Point Pleasant Beach community, and we're all about making memories with families. So especially for the amusement park, it's geared more towards families with younger kids. However, this new roller coaster that we're bringing in, the Patriots Run, it's going to be a little bit older, like that preteen type age where, they kind of are too old for the little rides, but also too young for the big, larger rides and like the, larger amusement parks like Six Flags and whatnot. So you kind of have that in between age, which is perfect for us, but it's also a family roller coaster. At the end of the day, you can still go on with your kids. It's very family oriented. There's no, crazy spins or flips like other roller coasters and other amusement parks. So definitely a family oriented roller coaster, gearing a little bit older for the kids. But like I said, it's perfect for all the younger kids, especially with families too.
So now, because you planned so many years in advance, I'm going to ask you, you don't have to say what, but do you have any plans for rides after you open Patriots Run?
Yeah, so
the following year's Patriots run, and then the year after that, we have another big project that we're starting that we're very excited for as well. And then after that, I hope they keep having more projects down the line.
Yeah, we're always looking to innovate, the guest experience here and bringing new and exciting things that, will drive customers to the boardwalk, especially with our 100th anniversary, which is coming up in 2028. We're always looking for, the Patriots Run is just part of that 100, anniversary plan to bring new and innovative stuff to the boardwalk, which is going to enhance the guest experience. And at the end of the day, just create more memories that, when you get older and you have kids, you're going to bring your kids there and so on and so forth. So that's what it's all about here at Jenkinson's Boardwalk.
Well, Vincent and Alex, just so you know, I'm about to go literally in 3 hours. I will be with an old friend of yours, Mr. Bill Evans, our meteorologist when I was at Channel 7 for 20 years. He used to do when he was with WPLJ, which was at the time an ABC station. I know they kicked off the summer at Jenkinson's for how many years? And he is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award in broadcasting today. So I get to be with him and Laurie Stokes and Joe Nolan, the whole team, our old Channel 17. We're going to be together. So I will tell him I spoke to you today because I know he used to love kicking off the summer at Jenkinson's every year. You guys are amazing. Tell everybody your website once again.
Yeah, so you can find us at Jenkinsons.com, especially on social media, Jenks Boardwalk, Facebook, Instagram. Like I mentioned before, we have a ton of exciting fall events happening. We have a big Boo at the Boardwalk event, which is this weekend. We have a big holiday event in December in the aquarium and also our nightclub. And then also, you can't forget about our Easter sale, which is this year is in the beginning of April, which essentially kicks off the summer so people can buy discount ride tickets and whatnot. And then summer will be here before you know it. A lot of people always ask Vincent and I, what do we do during the off season? Well, the answer is just getting ready for the summer. That's what we do. So you have a summer and you have an off season. That's it.
You guys are amazing. Alex Taylor, Marketing and Brand Manager, Vincent Storino, General Manager of Jenkinson's Point Pleasant Beach. You define New Jersey. The summer at the Jersey Shore can't be done without you guys. Thank you so much for being on today. And all the best with your ride.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. It is now 55 degrees and mixed sun and clouds today. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will be back for the Garden State forecast in just a moment. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
Countdown to Election Day, presented by AARP New Jersey. Visit aarp.org/NJ Votes.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. It is a Wednesday morning, straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta for a final check of the Garden State forecast. Mike?
Good morning, Ken. Beautiful weather today. Lots of sunshine this afternoon, and with it, a milder trend with all the clear sky across New Jersey. The radar showing the last of the showers that exited just after 7 a.m. here in South Jersey. So we start our morning with temperatures in the 50s, climb into what will feel very pleasant weather throughout this afternoon. The dew points are a little bit warmer than yesterday, meaning slightly more humidity, just a touch, but that's thanks to a southwesterly breeze that is actually helping to clear out the clouds. Last few days show a little bit of rainfall. The amount of rain that fell last night was about 1/4 of an inch statewide. And while the wind gusts this morning were breezy, we'll see another windy day throughout this afternoon as those gusts approach about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Futurecast showing a lovely round of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures warming into the mid 60s, and then going into the afternoon tomorrow, only the upper 50s. So a little bit of a change with clouds returning and cooler weather day by day. In fact, by Friday morning, we'll start off down in the 30s, only warming to the 40s by the afternoon. The Futurecast beyond that into Saturday shows another cool afternoon in the mid 50s. So the next few days featuring those temperatures sliding down to a few degrees below average. Ken, we've got more updates throughout the day, and you can always check us with your live weather online, ONNJ.com. Forecast updates 24/7 there. Ken?
If you are a worker in New Jersey without access to a retirement plan through your job, you're not alone. There's a new statewide program that aims to change that. It is called Retire Ready, and it's part of the New Jersey Secure Choice Savings Program. It is designed to help more residents start saving for the future automatically and with minimal effort, the best way. Joining us now is Todd Hassler, who's executive director of the program, to explain how it works and who's eligible. Good morning. Good to have you on.
Good to meet you, Ken.
Well, thank you. Tell us about this Retire Ready program, what it's about, and how it got started.
Sure. So Retire Ready is the state agency. So we are an agency of the state. We're kind of unique. We're in, but not of. They was created out of the New Jersey Secure Choice Savings Program Act. We're really here to establish and create accessibility for retirement savings for individuals not covered by a private retirement program. In New Jersey, this is alarmingly more common than not. Roughly 50% of our citizens don't have access to a retirement savings plan. Generally, because they are either self-employed or employed by a small employer here in New Jersey.
And that of course does pose a major problem when it comes to retirement time, because you just don't have the money. You don't necessarily have a pension in that case, and if you haven't planned, it's funny how fast the time sneaks up on you. The end of the road, if you will, sneaks up on you, and you have nothing saved at that point. So why would you say this program specifically right now is so important for New Jersey workers?
It's really critical for our citizens to be saving for retirement. The safety net out there is Social Security, and the program, Social Security, is a great program, but it's really only designed to replace about 40% of our income. I can't imagine going into a day and taking a 60% pay cut, but that's what our citizens face when they're not preparing for retirement. Retire Ready gives them the ability to save using a very similar process that many people take for granted with their employers. They have a 401k or 403b savings program. They're able to save out direct deposits out of their paycheck. That's a great thing because it eliminates the work in preparing for retirement. A lot of our citizens do not engage in this. They have a lack of knowledge, possibly. How do I do this? Am I doing it right? The fear of unknown, and then really inertia. Every day we get up and we want to deal with our daily life, but we don't think about what we need to do to be prepared for retirement. And unfortunately, individuals will be left with just Social Security, taking that 60% cut in income when they go into retirement here in New Jersey.
So Todd, who is eligible to participate in this?
Great question. So really anyone here in New Jersey, if you work or live in New Jersey, you're able to save through retireready.nj.gov. You simply go out to our site and begin saving. It's really intended, though, for individuals who do not have a retirement savings program. So if you have a retirement plan with your employer, take advantage of it, save as much as you can, start preparing. If you don't, please take advantage of our services. We're really set up to help the individual work through the process simply and easily.
Is it for full-time employees, or does it include part-time and gig workers? Basically anybody can take part?
Unlike a 401k, unlike a private retirement program, we don't set barriers for the citizens here in New Jersey. So really anyone, if you're working in any capacity, you're able to save through Retire Ready. It's a facility out there for anyone, whether you're working 1 hour a week or 40 hours a week or more. So if you don't have access to a retirement plan, you need to start preparing. Our resources and facilities are definitely available to you.
So these are post-tax dollars, right? So it's not like a Roth IRA or something like that. This is, you take whatever money you have after your taxes, you take some of that and it goes aside in basically a retirement savings account, right?
Actually, our accounts are established as individual retirement accounts, and we're versatile. So initially, when you enroll, you'll be enrolled into a Roth IRA. If you choose, you can convert that over to a traditional IRA. But you're correct. All the contributions are done on an after-tax basis. So they come out of your after-tax income. If it goes into Roth, they go in after tax, they come out after tax generally. If it's a traditional, you'll get that tax incentive when you file your taxes at the end of the year.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So tell us how people can sign up for it. Is it just automatic for some workers?
So, great question. There's a couple different ways for individuals to take advantage of it. There are employers who are mandated to participate under our law. That mandate, if you have 25 or more employees and you're a business here in New Jersey and you don't have a retirement plan, you're mandated to facilitate a payroll deduction out of the paycheck. We do all of the administrative work. We engage the employees, the savers, tell them about the plan, the defaults that are involved in it, and then we'll communicate back out to the employers. So for employers who are 25 or more, they're mandated to participate. We're working through the process and making sure that everyone's aware of it right now. For individuals, maybe you're working for an employer who has one employee, maybe it's just you, or you're a gig worker. You can just go out to our website, which is retireready.nj.gov. And if you move over to our savers section, the employee section, you're able to register and start saving right away.
I think people think all the time, I don't have enough money to put anything aside. And that's baloney, right? You have to, what's the old rule? Pay yourself first. So what would you tell somebody who's never put aside money for retirement before?
The real key is to start now. Don't worry about saving large dollar amounts. Start saving what you can save. I say it all the time at events. Don't be retirement poor, because you won't be able to sustain it. Start saving what you can save, even if it means that you have to sacrifice 1 cup of coffee a week. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money for retirement, especially the earlier you start. So the earlier you start in your career, the less you really need to save in dollar amounts, because if you have time for the power of compounding, the power of the investment to give you a return. But what my recommendation is start with what you can. With Retire Ready, if you're saving through your employer, you can save as little as 1% of your income. If you're saving as an individual, you can save $5 a pay, $5 a week. And that gives you the ability to really put some money away for retirement and have that dream that you envision for yourself when you enter into a retirement stage of your career.
That's the way to. I had, by the way, a relative who 10 years, actually 8 years before retirement, worked 1 weekend day a month. That's it. 1 day a month. And did a part-time gig, made a couple of $100, and that couple of hundred went right into retirement and did that for 8 years and didn't amass $1 million, but it was a little nest egg, just a little something to help out with a pension and Social Security, doing fine. That it's just something, right? Every little, just sticking your head in the sand doesn't do it. What's your website? We got 30 seconds left, Todd, for people to get that info again.
It's www.retireready.nj.gov, or you can give a call to our Saver Assistance number, 844-553-4043.
Todd Hassler, Executive Director of Retire Ready. Thank you for coming on this morning. And for more information on when, where, and how to vote, please visit aarp.org/NJ votes. Have a great day.
Thank you, Kim.
And that was taped, which you could see I have a different outfit, but it was so great to have, what Mr. Hassler said, in mind at all times. It sneaks up. Yeah, I'm 58 now. 58 snuck up from like the age of 30 to now. Boom, like that. Start planning. Never too young to start planning for your retirement, as you just heard from Mr. Hassler, even if it's a little bit each week. Just eliminate the cup of coffee here or there and put that money aside for retirement in a good retirement plan. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says mixed sun and clouds today, a little breezy and cooler than yesterday, highs low 60s. And that, my friends, is On New Jersey Mornings for your Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Remember, you can always stream us at ONNJ.com on Roku, Fire TV, News On. We're now on local, what's it called? It's Local Now. How did I forget? I gotta remember that. We're now on Local Now too. It's all over the place. We're on like 20 platforms. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Tell all your friends about us. And we do some behind the scenes too on the social platforms during the show. Till tomorrow, have a great day.